Proud of boys. Peace. What's good with you boys out there? Come to talk to you boys today about semen retention and staying the course. This is some motivation for you guys. If you're going through a relapse, if you're 30 days in, if you're 200 days in, I don't care. This applies to everybody that comes through on this content who is already motivated or wants to get motivated, self-motivated, whatever, what have you. You dig the content, you here just for the support. You're here on semen retention, or you're trying to gain some knowledge, wisdom, whatever the case may be. This is motivation for all. It's motivation for me to stay the course. The first thing I want to talk about is the course of study. And what's our course? Why are you on this content? What do we practice? You got it, semen retention. You dig. And when you think about a course of study, when you think about school, you're schooling yourself, you're learning knowledge about yourself, you're learning knowledge about this practice, what it takes, how many days you need to go on to see certain benefits or gain certain benefits. A lot of people like to say, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but there are people out there who say it's placebo, it's this and that, but this is a true practice. And when you think about course and a course study, and you think about practice, you need to take a semester or two to get right. And if you think about it, you go through the pressure. Once again, you study yourself. You go through the test of this practice. No one is excluded. You go through the urges. You go through the people hating on you. You go through the females being attracted to you. You go through the loneliness. You go through all of it. Some may go through more than others. Each person's experience may be different from others, but this is a common thing. Guys who can relate, who have gone on long streets, know what I'm talking about. If you're just jumping into it, if you're new to the content, whatever, what have you, understand that this is a course study. Take a semester or two to get right. Now, when you think about it, how long is a semester or a marking period in school? About 3 to 4 months, right? 90 days is something that I always harp on, and I am an advocate for at least going 90 days. My first 90 days, bro, I was still in the house with my ex-wife at the time, going through a divorce, and I was on semen retention, 90 days. Sleeping on a futon in our living room. Because going through issues, going through problems, sex doesn't resolve issues, problems that need to be actually communicated and talked about. You need to take this course of study more serious, because when you are going to school, you're trying to get a degree, you're trying to get a certificate, they put you through that test to see if you are made for it. Do you have what it takes? In this practice, in this journey that we call semen retention, it doesn't just stop at the 90 days. There's multiple semesters. All right. And I'm specifically talking to the guys who go through relapses, kind of falter off, give up, or whatever the case may be. You're giving up on yourself. Certain things are a test. That relapse that you may have had is a test. What are you going to do afterwards? See, when you go through the pressure, studying yourself, going through the test, you graduate. What do you graduate to? You graduate to a higher frequency. You graduate to your higher self. You graduate to a renewal of yourself. You put on a new format, a new mindset. You graduate from your old self to new. You did. This is the thing about guys going through relapses, who falter off, or even guys who go on long streaks. I've had guys reach out to me who have went through long streaks, and I'm not going to put too much basis on there, or too much information out, because it was someone who actually did a consultation with me, and he went on a long streak. I believe he was like 180 days, reaching almost 200, and he relapsed. And he went, and he was honest. He went through a back and forth, a binge, got back on, a binge again, and he was just at a point where he was just settling. But I was explaining to him, well, if you're coming to me for consultation and you feel like you're at a good place and settling, what are you consulting with me for? If you feel like you got it. He felt that he needed to carry it further. He was missing something, or he missed something. So I simply told him, well, you know how to get to 180 days to 200 days. You got to get back to school, my boy. You got to get back on the grind and stay the course. You got to keep on getting these achievements, going through these semesters. It's required on the journey. Now, at the time, I didn't have these metaphors for him and applying it to the schooling system and all that, but I was giving him information that he needed to get back on because he needed to stay the course. This was something that may be leading him to his purpose. This is the thing, guys, after relapses, or even once again, if you're on already multiple days, but going forward, you need this information because this is key. Every day that you wake up, every day is a day that you haven't seen yet. Every day that you wake up, let me say it one more time, and every day that is placed in front of you, you haven't seen yet. You are stepping into the unknown each and every day. Now, you may have a work schedule, you got appointments, you got time slotted to do different things. Maybe you are in school, so you got school time. All right. Anything that you have planned to go forward to take up some of that unknown time is good. It's a good thing to have a job. It's a good thing to have your time, how would you say, your time orchestrated. If you have planned it also, yes, work will keep you on an 8-hour, 12-hour time limit. Focus on them. Take that as a good thing. I don't care if you hate your job, you're trying to quit, if people give you problems. That time there is what you need, especially on semen retention, because that is going to build your character. It's going to help your emotions. It's going to help you deal with the stress of going to a place that you really don't want to be at, but you are mustering up the power, your own life force, to be there and work hard, doing the dirty work, doing things that you don't want to do, but you're doing them anyway. A lot of people out here aren't willing to do what doesn't want to be done. They want to take the easy way out. When we step into something that we don't want to do, but we do it anyway, like semen retention, a lot of us don't want to do it. We like pleasure. We enjoy sex. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but understand, like, getting that pleasure, or really having a connection with someone is something that we desire as men. All right. But we want the right people around us. That's why we're on semen retention. We make the sacrifice to go at it alone, go through it with this study and this course, because no one can take it for us. And then we move on to make us better for whoever comes in our dwelling space. But understand that you have to take account for your blind spots. After your 12 hours, 8 hours on a shift is over from work, and let's just make it 12 to even it out for the full 24. You got another 12 hours of what are you doing with that time? These are your blind spots. And this is why this applies to not just guys that are on a binge of relapsing or back and forth with the relapse, but also you guys who are advance in these courses, right? Drop something in the comments to help these guys out with your tips of what you have done, because guys are quick to tell me or drop in the comments how many days they're on. You know, I get guys that say, you know, they're a year out now, you know what I mean, 274 days, and you get the big salute. But there are more guys who need the information and need the tips. I give out tips too, but guys, if you have more tips, put it down in the comments. Some of your tips might even help me. So please, this is a gathering. This is not a self-proclaimed channel. This is not self-proclaimed content. I never named this content after myself. You guys who haven't consulted with me don't even know my name. If you just catch me on YouTube, you don't know my name. You just see crowd of boys. It's plural because this is a group of us coming together, and I want guys to share. I get a lot of guys who come and I share certain tips and comments on my behalf of my personal experience, and my life has been different. All right, not too many people can really like I said, I just gave y'all a short, you know what I mean, how my first 90 days going on semen retention went. It actually went 110 days. All right, and I was in a house currently at the time, technically with my wife. She's my ex-wife now, but I was still married at the time, in the house. Yeah. So guys, your experiences, I'm pretty sure, are different. So be open to share. All right. But understand the idle time, that space not accounted for, the unknown that you're stepping into. Yeah, you may have school, work, this and that. That's only 12 hours of your day. All right. You have to take account for the blind spots. Other blind spots are your traumas that you are avoiding, your triggers. And I'll get into, that's a different topic, with triggers and traumas, because that has to do with healing during this process of your course study. You have to learn to heal the proper way. Semen retention gears that because you're refraining from sex and sexual desires. But now it's about the mental, your mental capacity. Can you handle it? Is your mental health in check? Guys, it's easy to get to the gym, get that testosterone out, get that energy out, but now it's the mental game that plays on you. All right. These are blind spots that guys either ignore or don't know about. Your mind is still susceptible to triggers. These images that we have been exposed to still has an effect. So we have to be careful. It's very serious. All right. So this is key. Your blind spots, check them. Check yourself. Hold yourself accountable. All right. This is key to furthering your journey and staying the course, because this helps you further. This is how you graduate. You evolve into your higher self. You graduate from old to new. You shed old skin, but you have to address your blind spots. It's a must. All right. The last thing before I leave you guys is setting yourself up into the flow state. And once again, it's a different topic dealing with healing and trauma. I really want to touch base on healing and healing properly. Okay. The base of it is starting with semen retention, keeping it in your pants, and not just from women, from yourself. Keep it away from yourself too. Keep yourself covered. All right. This is through planning to take up that unknown space and empty spaces. Once again, if you want to consult with me, all right, guys, if I've had somebody recently, and this wasn't even a consultation, this was someone at my workplace, and we were having a conversation, you know, passing the time, getting rid of our 8 hours. And the brother I was speaking to, you know, we have deep conversations, spirituality, a lot of stuff goes on. I don't go too much into semen retention with people because I don't want to hit them with too much at one time. You dig what I'm saying? So the gentleman, what he expressed was, we were talking about relationships and stuff like that, and family. And we were talking about the family aspect, and he has some trauma in his past with his father. I'm not going to go too much into detail what his father was into, but he was doing some wicked stuff, and I'll leave it at that. And it kind of left him in a space where he feels like he has no purpose, and he voiced this, vocally, no purpose, not really driven to do anything outside of work and stuff like that. And later on, he really, finally, he was honest and open. And once again, I'm just a vessel of people who just are open and honest with me. He told me, he goes to, masturbates and stuff like that. So that's cool. I don't judge people when they say that stuff, because I was once in that space too. I can't judge you off of something that I used to do, but I'll give you tips to get better, because that's what I've been doing, is getting better from that. But these are unknown spaces that idle time. All right. Not having a purpose. And this is why I bring up the consultation. Guys, if you need help finding out what you need to do, finding your purpose. All right. There's a book out there. I don't have it in front of me. I can't give you the title of the author right off the top, but the purpose of the driven life of purpose, something, whatever. But there are books out here that helps you find your purpose, gives you tips to discovering your purpose. You have to do the work, the inner work, to find out what that is. Gain a connection with the universe to find out what that is. Lo and behold, the whole time this guy is living in his purpose. Is just that we all feel like our purpose needs to be this grand thing, this flashy thing where everyone sees it. This guy is starting a whole garden. And he not even starting a whole garden, but he started a whole garden, but he wants to add more to it. He wants to get a greenhouse. He wants to do other things. He wants to grow his own marijuana, have lights and stuff like that, going on for himself. And he also says that he wants it mostly for his personal use and people that are close to him. Lo and behold, that's his purpose. He's building something and he wants to build more, but he's downplaying it because of past traumas. The men in his life have been a certain type of way. So he's learned certain traits. And not to say that he's in that same way, but he looks at those examples and can't decipher through them to make him better and not be that way. He looks at it as a damper on him, and he carries that with him. He told me he feels like some of it is kind of his fault of, well, he blames his, whatever. I don't want to get too personal with him. We had a deep conversation. I don't want to get, that really has nothing to do with you guys. But guys, I know there's more guys out there. All right. All in all, that need to find something outside of work and school or gym, because there are too many hours that you have to work with. I know they say that there's not enough hours in a day. That's bullshit. All right. There's enough hours. It's just that you're not making up for that time. We all got the same 24. I know we hear that a lot and it's cliche, but we all got the same 24. What you're doing with yours is going to be different from the next, right? And it's not about comparison. We don't compare each person to the next or our journey to the next person. But if you're having troubles and you're having issues, not finding a purpose or just prospering, then you need to take a look at what you are doing with your time, because that's the most valuable thing that you have. I heard something key, that if you don't take accountability for your time and do what's right with your time, someone else will, because the judge will give you time. They have no problem in the court system giving you time. And they'll give you time just like that. 10 years, 5 years. And they'll say it without stuttering, like it's nothing. So take your time and value it. Value your time more than money. Value your time more than women. Value your time for yourself. Once again, this is planning the unknown, those empty spaces, the idle time. I know I said I'll leave y'all with one, the last thing, but before I leave y'all, I want to give y'all another reference, all right, that I just recently gave yesterday. It just popped off in my head, and it was regarding my son, all right. I coach his football team. It's a rough touch type style football. But my son, he's a little bit advanced and he wants to play tackle. But me and his mother don't want him to take too much contact early on. He's only 8, going on 9, right? And he's passionate about ball and he wants to play tackle bad, right? But the same thing with course and also protecting him as what I mean, as our child. But taking contact like this young and he wants to go further and further his career, we're gonna, sit him back and have him play. He's already been playing flag and stuff like that, but explain it to him, listen, you're too young to be taking all this contact. We're going to protect you and preserve you for when that time comes, you'll be ready. But at this time, you need to be studying the game. This is the conversation we had just yesterday. We had a tournament yesterday. At this time of recording, we had a tournament yesterday for his football, right? But I had to talk with him about playing tackle, putting on equipment and taking the contact. You have to study the game. You have to gain more knowledge of the game because this is serious, taking this contact. Another thing I told him is that he has to get stronger. He's a smaller kid, all right? And the kids that we are playing against, some of them don't look 8 or 9 years old, bro. So he's getting the experience. He's getting the game time. He's getting the time in the play, and he's getting the experience around bigger kids too also. And he's also played in a league where he played up where he wasn't supposed to. He was 7 playing in a 8-9 league one year. All right. To get him that experience. But it wasn't tackle. It was flag. All right. But he got the experience and now he's excelling. Now when he's playing amongst his peers in his right place, he stands out. And I will continue to do that because he needs to get more advanced, right? But understand, I told him about strength. He needs to put on more weight. He needs to exercise more. And the key thing that I told him, and this is why I bring it up, I said, when you're at home with your mother, and you're sitting there, you're playing the video game because he's not around me, you're playing the video game, you can take time out when the game is loading, or when you take a break from the game, you put it on pause, take 20 seconds, bust out some squats, do some push-ups. You need to do extra work if you really want to play tackle. You got to get stronger. You have to get on an eating regimen. These are things that you need to be on to advance yourself, to graduate to different heights. Guys, all this just doesn't apply to semen retention. This is a life lesson through everything. Sports, semen retention, life lesson, growing up as a man. This is discipline. With all I said, I hope y'all caught the gems. I hope y'all can take this and apply it, please. Stay the course. With that said, with love, peace.